Hey Jimmy, what's happening, man? It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Just got back from Mexico. We just launched our festival down there. So I was down there last week. We played Saturday, which was amazing. We played with Turnstile, Peter Hook and the Light, Interpol. It was ripping, man. And then we had wrestling, of course, which was the Lucha Libre, which was incredible. I mean, the whole thing was just bonkers. So I'm excited to bring it down there and have you guys witness our insanity.
You have no idea how keen, we are, mate.
Yeah.
Mate, it's just gonna be insane. Like every man and his dog are gonna be there. Well, I don't know if they're gonna, but I tell you what, man, it's gonna be incredible. That's of course the World of Vampire Festival. 11,
You got it.
11 dates, mate, in Australia.
I know. I know.
We don't get
I
that.
mean, and there's a couple days where we have like 2 days off. So I'm gonna try to like rent a motorcycle or get on a fishing boat somewhere. I don't know, do something.
Oh man, that's awesome. Are you bringing the whole family down? Or
I'm not. They came to Mexico. My daughter's in school, so she's not going to be able to break away and get down. My son's an elite gymnast, so he's competing. He's right in the final couple beats before nationals. So he's kind of in the he's in the mix, so to speak, with that. But no, I'm not. And I think when I bring my family to Australia, I'm not going to be working. I want to go down there and just do some crazy stuff,
hang out,
right
go
on.
fishing.
Nobody's going to be worried about whether I break my hand or not.
You don't want to do that. Hey, like I guess that's a thing about being a drummer or a guitarist or a musician in general is there's danger everywhere.
There is everywhere you look, and not just from breaking your hand. Obviously, I mean, luckily I'm happily married for 20 years now, and I've been out of that mix. But back in the old days, there was many different forms of danger.
Ah, yes. Are you going to tell us some of those stories?
No,
No.
everybody's already heard those stories.
Yeah. Well, man, the festival itself is insane. Like the Mexico one was crazy. And the one we've got down here has got some of our best bands. Like Amel and the Sniffers are great. Red Hook are insane. It's going to be really, really cool, man. What are you looking forward to about the shows down here? Or who are you looking at seeing?
I mean, all of those bands I'm interested to see. I mean, I love playing with younger bands. We just played with Turnstile and they kicked our butts. I mean, they were so good. And any of that stuff that I see, it's infectious. It just makes me want to play more and be more adventurous and kind of more, in the culture. But I'm just looking forward to hanging with the people. I mean, Australia is one of my favorite places to be. I was sad that COVID took its toll on both of our countries. Um, but some of our best times ever have been down there. I mean, the Big Day Out, come on. We did the Big Day Out in the 90s. It was Pumpkins, Soundgarden, Bjork, the Breeders, the Ramones, Cruel Sea. I mean, it was everybody but Crowded House, man. And Midnight Oil. But yeah, no, it was amazing. And I remember, just hanging out. I went to the Grand Prix in Melbourne that year, which was amazing. I'm going to miss the Grand Prix this year by about 8 days, so I think it's before I get there, which is a bummer. But at any rate, yeah, Australia is awesome. I walked the Sydney Harbor Bridge. Hooked
Yeah.
myself up to that cable and walked across like a nut. That was super cool. But yeah, I mean, Australia is like an HD version of like the nicest places in America. It's like America's like SD. Australia's like HD.
That's a very interesting, except everything can kill you in HD. So that's the
Yeah, right. Well, that's it,
yeah,
right? Even the blood coming out of your leg from a crocodile attack is HD.
like wow. If you like doing that stuff, you're going to be on the Gold Coast, which is where I'm at. If you like
Yes.
climbing things, something you might want to do while you're here, we've got like one of the tallest buildings in the world, which is the Q1. You can climb the top of that. I've done it, and you hang
Nice.
outside. If you want to get your blood going in HD, super HD, do that. That's my tip.
Okay. All right, I'll see if I can get that green lit. But yeah, I'm down.
Excellent, excellent. But this,
I'm actually racing right after. I'm coming home and I'm racing my Carrera Cup car at Road America. So
oh
I
wow,
still get a I get plenty of adrenaline here in the States, but I'm always up for a little foreign adrenaline.
a little bit of danger on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it keeps keeps it real.
absolutely. Well, you're bringing Jane's Addiction down here with for the festival too, who you've been running around with those guys for a lot of
Yeah.
time. Good
Yeah,
guys.
they're like they've moved in. Those guys, they've moved into our houses. Um
Eating your cereal, sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, right. Huh, crashing on the couch. No, they're great. I mean, we did that whole tour in the States with them, and I mean, I've known those guys. You know, my think third gig ever with the Pumpkins was opening up for Jane's Addiction. So, I mean, I learned a lot about. Yeah, I was just a jazzer from Chicago, and like I didn't know like how to play or what was acceptable in that kind of rock and roll. I heard Jane's Addiction do it, and then I was like, all right, all bets are off, man. I'm going wild from this point on. Um, but yeah, they were great. I mean, every night was just an incredible performance from those guys, Steve, and I mean they were killing it. There's and those songs are so iconic. They got Eric Avery back in the band, who's
Yeah.
he's the dude. I mean, he's the guy who wrote all those bass parts, and they're playing all those old great songs. I mean, when they play 3 days, it's like a knockout punch.
I can't wait. It's going to be incredible. You know, like
It's
I'm gonna
pretty
try
epic.
yeah, I'm going to try and make it to two of the shows. So I don't want to miss it at all. It's going to be awesome. But are you looking at taking the festival further into the big wide world? What's
Yes.
the dreams for this festival?
So, I mean, the idea is to turn it into kind of a quasi Lala and have it
Mm,
be more of a moving festival, and to be able to take more kind of components from local culture, than more so than bringing like our dirty American laundry around the world. It's more about like we want to anchor the festival, but
yeah.
we really want to curate it with the things that are around us, which is why we incorporated like the lucha libre in Mexico. Here we're using a lot of Australian bands, so really like an homage to the, like you said, to the world, as opposed to like, hey, let's bring you know the Americans around. Here come the Americans again, um, type of thing, which nobody wants that to happen. But yeah, I think we had talked about you know having like fortune tellers and gypsies and kind of mystic experiences along with the music, and have it be
Yeah.
more holistic, and have it be more kind of non-musical peripheral activities, like even poetry readings and those types of things, maybe Ayurveda or massage or things like that, more like the original Lala was, where it was more about kind of a caravan of sound and experiences, as opposed to a big bloated festival where water's $8 a bottle.
Oh, yeah. No, no, you don't want
I mean, right?
that. There's some in the tap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just you and 2 million of your closest friends.
Yeah. But then another thing is Autumn has been dropping. You've dropped the first two parts of this album, and the third is coming out April 21st, I believe.
Yes.
Mate, I'm loving where this thing is going and what you guys are doing with it. It's such a massive, massive concept and part of the trilogy. Last time we spoke, you sort of dropped some hints about it. And here it is, mate. How are you feeling about it getting out in the world finally?
Good. Yeah, it's good to be birthing it. It's like, birthing, 8 babies at once. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really, I mean, not that I would know what that feels like, but it for me, I think that's my kind of, it was just such a long, process over 2 years of working on it. I know when we spoke, I was still in the kind of early stages of creating, and it's a long, I mean, you work so hard on it, you kind of forget, right? And then when the songs drop, I'm like, oh, that one. Oh, yeah, that one. Oh, yeah, that one. But I mean, I spent 2 months working on the drum parts and just arranging them, and showed up at the studio, knowing that material and no notes. And I mean, I think the coolest thing about it is we really want to define the band not so much by our sound, but by our ability to kind of just keep reinventing, right? And it's really, I want the ideology or the identity of the band to be more about they never did the same thing twice. They never leaned on their most successful records just to recreate and make that, keep
Mm.
making your second record over. I'm okay to fail every once in a while as long as we fail trying to do something we haven't done before. And I think, Autumn is really been successful in that regard. It's been the challenge was, can we create an album, a little bit more towards the center than Sear, but in a modern context and a modern architecture that still sounds like the Pumpkins, right?
Yeah.
Can we police ourselves to live in today's world and still be ourselves? And is that even possible? So with that, I feel like having gone kind of all the way there with Autumn and Sear, I feel like it's really allowed us to kind of take a step back, look at the summation of all the components that we've been able to use throughout our career. And now what we're working on, we've kind of landed more into kind of heavy rock again. So Billy and I worked after the tour with Jane's here. We went into Blackbird for 21 days and just we had done a session in the summer, just him and I, just a working session of demoing stuff, and we took the top 20 pieces of music and we went in and we're making another record that's landing more kind of prog rock, more kind
Yeah.
of drummy, two guitars, bass, and drums stuff. But it feels natural, right? It doesn't feel like, oh, we're going to go back and make Gish Part 2, or we're going to go and do this. It just feels like naturally where we landed. Like we want to make a record like this. It's not like we have to, but we feel like this is really an organic, uh, organic uh, self-expression, right? It's just what's coming out of us, and it's not contrived at all. As this stuff wasn't either. It was just the thesis is, can you stay current, keep reinventing the wheel, but retain enough of your identity where it sounds like you. And I think we've really done that.
Absolutely. And you continue to do it. And that's why, and it's no secret, Smashing Pumpkins are and have always been my favorite band of all time.
No, thank
For
you.
that reason. No, mate, if you knew how obsessed I was with Smashing Pumpkins, you'd be running away. But I love the band. I love the band so much. And that's why, is because it's challenged me musically and taught me things musically that you don't have to be one thing. You can be many things and
Yeah.
succeed. You know.
Yeah. I mean, we're more interested in being Miles Davis than we are in,
Yeah.
band X or
Yes.
whoever it is, whoever we're both thinking of.
Yeah. But here's the one thing that's kind of tripping me out at the moment is with man, how do I even explain this? But with Autumn, my eldest daughter is called Autumn. Now she's
Oh,
20 something. Now this goes way, way back when I probably a couple of months after she was born, a couple of months after Machina was born. So the day she was born, I went home and I listened to Machina. So I've got such a big connection with that album because of my daughter. And then swinging around all these years later, the album comes out Autumn, which is connected to Machina. Now, this is the weirdest thing about Smashing
now
Pumpkins.
is it spelled the same?
No, it's not spelled. It's AUTU.
Oh,
But
yeah, I got you.
but the thing is, there's so many little weird synchronicities with this band, with not just my life, but other people I've spoken to as well, and how it just entwines into their life and in circumstances and things like that. Is that something that you hear a lot or experience yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we hear all the time. I mean, all the time. I mean, I was just barely a day goes by where somebody doesn't tell me a story about them and my band. Especially if we're on the road, but even like the car wash or going, obviously Pumpkins are huge in
Mm.
Chicago. This morning I was at the car dealer and similar situation. I mean, it's hard, it's in the Midwest, you think, okay, the band's huge. It's hard to not have a Pumpkins related experience. We know a lot of people, blah, blah, blah. But when you get to, Australia, or when you get to Japan and somebody tells you that, or you get a letter from, Scandinavia, or South America, or when you realize, Mexico it's one of our biggest markets, and you go down there and like literally every person has got a story. I mean, you realize that it's just, you've been, you've been charged with kind of, being this person that is part of this thing that's, you know, indirectly or directly helping people, guiding them, allowing them to feel things in a way that may or may not be conducive to their environment. Um, it's a special thing. I mean, it's something that I don't think about that much, but when I do, it's very touching, and I feel, I guess, gratitude. Obviously, I'm hugely grateful for being able to support myself playing my instrument. My relationship with my instrument is the oldest relationship I have. I've been playing since I was 8, and I'm 58 right now. So I've been playing for 50 years, half a century. And my entire life is a barometer that's related to my drum set. How my relationship is with my drum set is a barometer for how everything else in my life is going. My relationship with my kids, my wife, my bandmates, whatever. If I'm not practicing or I don't feel good about my commitment to my instrument, I don't have good relationships with people. And that's probably been the greatest lesson of my life that's allowed me to take my pursuit of this music seriously, because it becomes a reflecting pool for everything else, And then when you see how the tapestry of the music starts to, wash over people, and you see the affectation that it has, you realize that it is the single most important thing that I have, because it does dictate how people feel, or how my wife feels, or how my kids feel, or how I feel about myself, or how I feel about, our conversations, whether I can take things like this seriously or not. So, yeah, I think, with 50 years of playing behind me, and 33 years on and off of the Pumpkins, there's something that's you just think sometimes in a strong moment or a weak moment, like, how the fuck did this happen? How the fuck did this happen to me? I mean, it's pretty crazy, right? I mean, I'm just some suburban kid from Joliet who just sat and practiced his drums a nauseating amount of time and drove my neighbors crazy. My parents, I mean, it was 6 hours a day I would practice. But for me, it was like, it was all there was. I mean, I was just consumed with the drum set. I just knew that I knew even early on that if I fulfilled my if I honored my covenant, that it would always produce great things, and it always has.
Mate, that's why we love you. And we all feel connected to you, mate. Like these Pumpkins connects so many people in so many different ways. And I feel
Yeah,
so lucky to have Pumpkins in the world that I live in. I am
same.
born in the same, I exist at the same time as Smashing Pumpkins. I can't, it's such a great thing.
Hey, speaking of honoring my commitment, I've got another
Oh,
interview
yeah.
at 4:40, so I'm sorry to cut you.
No, that's fine. That's cool. I totally understand. I just like hanging out with you. But anyway, Jim,
Yeah, of course.
we will have all the links down here to the World is a Vampire Festival tour and Autumn. Brother, you take care, and we will see you very soon. Much love, mate.
Yeah, yeah. I'll see you down there.
Yeah.